Welcome to Unit 6. In this unit, you will come across the topics of war and peace, ranging from global conflicts to family disagreements. You will read about some positive developments for society that war has created over different periods in history. Think about how you resolve conflicts in your family. What do you do or don't you do to make situations better? Listen to some people talking about conflict in today's society.
People suffer from a lot of trauma as a result of wars, and it affects the location of people. Families move because of wars and have to start again in different countries.
I think war has had a very negative impact on the way people associate with one another. I think war has desensitized people. So now when we see tragedies, people don't often realize the magnitude of them because war has desensitized, and it's just, in my opinion, I don't think it's necessary.
Yeah, so I think conflict and war kind of shape our national identity in quite a big way. I think things that we tend to say about ourselves is that we're not French and we're not German, and we have a sense of identity. But I think in a lot of ways that comes out of previous conflicts and ceremonies of remembrance that we sort of institute in society to keep a living memory of those that we've lost, what we fought for, and how we hope to kind of embark on the future.
I think people became really apolitical. I mean, we see it with our students. They don't go as much on protests as we did during a student time. So I think people are a little bit scared of politics or maybe bored by politics. And because war is now so present, we are only going to see it in the next generation, the psychological effects on the society. But because now we are confronted with so many war pictures over the social media, I think that will affect the generation of people.
Devastating. We've been experiencing the Syrian crisis, and our community have hosted 6 or 8 Syrian families to help them get settled in as new Canadians. And we've seen the struggles that people have had. And so I think war is very difficult. There are no easy wars.
It has completely altered the way that geography is configured now, so that you have migration crises everywhere. And now thinking of the Middle East and thinking of Africa. And conflict creates movements, vast movements of people. And vast movements of people means protectionist policies in the more powerful countries. So and we're living through that now, and it could have been wars that happened 20, 50 years ago, but life and history have a way of kind of collapsing one against the other. And we're going to see the effects of human conflict like that for decades, centuries to come.
The prickliness, like sometimes it comes up in everyday life, like people who come with their debit cards from other countries who used to be able to go to any store and pay for whatever. Now suddenly their cards don't work, and you're like, huh, what? It's like, oh yeah, well, I come from Turkey. Or it's like, oh, well, that's a bit of a conflict situation. Or I want to go on a vacation to Egypt, but that's never going to happen.
Okay, so I suppose big picture, I would say it encourages divisions. It encourages people to have pride about their nationality, which can be a good thing, but it can be very negative as well. Just the idea that humans should ever fight physically for generally economic gain is not one I would stand behind, I guess, yeah.
Through communication, through talking about feelings and not letting things fester, in a sense, just holding on to resentment, and then it would build and build and build, and you'd have a larger conflict than if you just started that communication and said, hey, why'd you do this? Or what happened here? Or I felt this when you did this.
I think understanding others is very important right now, seeing how a lot of politicians right now are just thinking about their own countries. And I think it's very important to
understand what's going on around you too.
And learn, not just come into a country and go like, oh, this is my country, I know my culture. You need to go in and understanding others' cultures before you go and visit somebody else's place, right? You need to read, you need to understand, you need to be able to understand what they're saying to you instead of just coming in and with your own culture.
I think courage. So people have to people need the courage to change.
They need to be able to listen and actually register what they hear from the other side, because right now everything is so polarized and everyone is, clutching their opinions and not willing to let go and compromise. And that is essential because once things take a global scale, there is a need for dialogue. There is a need to actually get a little bit out of your depth and actually seeing what other people that are not you need.